First of all, I just spoke with Robert, and he was telling me that it was you in the beginning who really wanted to act in a Viking story, in a Viking movie. So what did you feel so compelling in this kind of mythology and stories and culture?
It's kind of in my DNA, in my blood. I'm from Sweden. I remember growing up we had a house on Öland, which is an island in the Baltic Sea, a family home where we spent the summers, and there's over 160 rune stones on the island. So some of the first memories I have are from being a child on the island and seeing these rune stones and the runic inscriptions of Viking expeditions down to Constantinople and faraway places, and remember just being mesmerized by it. And then, so I think in a way I started to kind of nurture a dream of one day maybe making a Viking movie already back then. And then about 10 years ago, I started trying to figure out, well, I'd never really seen a big epic Viking movie that was that felt truthful and that was based on the Edda sagas, the Icelandic sagas. So together with Lars Knudsen, a Danish producer, we started to trying to come up with an idea of, like, should it be based on one of the Icelandic sagas, or should it be based on an actual historic Viking, or but it wasn't until I met Rob about 5 years ago that it actually took off, because then we started talking about it, and Rob had met Sean, the screenwriter, and that's how, like, the team was put together, and that's when it took off.
No need to say this probably has been an extremely challenging role from a physical point of view, and you had to go through a huge physical preparation. But what I was wondering about is how did you approach it from a psychological point of view? This is a character who has to discover in himself feelings that he never had the chance to feel, in a way. So how did you work on this aspect?
Well, first of all, it was important to understand the Viking mindset, the mentality, and a big component of that was an individual's relationship to the mythology, to nature, to the deities, to the gods, that relationship. And obviously, this is a movie about fate, about destiny. So it was important for me to understand what was Amlet's, how did he view fate, and what did it mean to him? And the Vikings believed in three female characters called the Norns of fate that would, under the Yggdrasil tree, weave the fates, almost like a tapestry of each and every man. And you can't escape that fate, it's inevitable. And that was important to understand, that to him it's, he can't escape his fate. And it's very clear what his fate is, and it's to avenge the death of his father. What makes it interesting is obviously when he then meets Olga, and suddenly an opportunity for a different path, a path filled with love, and it opens up. And how does he deal with that? Can he embark on that journey, or is it, again, is his fate taking him in a different direction? And that tears him apart.
That's a pretty contemporary issue, I believe. You know, this having to choose between following love instincts or hate instincts in order to fix our path, you know, or I wouldn't say destiny today, but anyway. So you think this kind of story could apply to the world we're living in, besides being a great
I think it's quite universal and quite timeless. And that duality, that dichotomy of the two, being pulled in two different directions. Hamlet desperately tries to resist it because he's so set on revenge, and is trying to, but then he's trying to have both, and that doesn't quite. It confuses him very much. And then I want to leave it open to, did he do the right thing or not? Did he even have an option? I think, not to make it too anachronistic, but to us, maybe, yeah, you do definitely have an option, just, you know.
Yeah.
But to him, again, when you have that strong belief in destiny and a fate determined by someone outside of yourself, then you don't really have free will.